After inserting the installation disk of Identikey, the autoplay menu will be shown. You can install Identikey, view the documentation or exit. We will click on the Install Identikey Server button to start the installation. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. Select Advanced Installation. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. Select Active Directory as data storage method. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. Click on the Identikey Server button to start the Identikey Server installation. Read the End-User License Agreement. Check the I agree to the terms of the license agreement. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. Click the icons in the tree to change the way feature will be installed. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. Identikey is now ready to be installed. Click on the Install button to continue the installation. The Identikey server is now being installed. Click on the Finish button to exit the installation. Now you need to install the NetSNMP daemon. Click on the NetSNMP button to start the installation. If you want to deploy the web admin on the same server, you will need to install the Java Runtime Environment. Click on the Java Runtime Environment button to start the Java installation. The Java Runtime Environment will be installed. If you want to deploy the web admin on the same server, you will need to install Apache Tomcat. Click on the Apache Tomcat button to start the Tomcat. Apache Tomcat will be installed. Click on the Run Configuration Wizard button to start the Configuration Wizard. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Select the IP address for the Identikey server. This is the IP address that the Identikey server will bind to and accept client requests on. Please be aware that the Identikey server license will be tied to this address. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. To load a license file, you must first have downloaded it from the Vasco website. If you have not done that, you can do it now by clicking the Request a License Key button. You can also copy the URL to the clipboard if you wish to download the license later, by clicking Copy URL to Clipboard. If you have a license key file, you can load it by navigating to the file using the button. You can continue without loading a license key file, but you must load one before you can start to use Identikey server. Click Next to continue. This is the Vasco Data Security Product Registration site. Here you can request a permanent or evaluation license. Read the terms and conditions of the agreement. Check the Select This checkbox to confirm you have fully read and agree with the terms and conditions. Click on the I agree button to continue the registration. Select the Identikey software/filter license. Click on the Next button to continue the registration. Enter your name and company. The IP address and serial number will be automatically filled in. Click on the Create Evaluation License button to continue the registration. Click on the right-click and save license.dat file to disk link, and save the license file to disk. Click on the triple dot button. Navigate to the downloaded license file and click on the Open button. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Select the server functionality that you want to have enabled. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. If you have not extended the schema manually, before starting the configuration wizard will perform the extension for you. You must wait while this is done, and wait for replication to occur, before continuing with the configuration wizard. If this is not the first Identikey server to be installed, tick the This is not the first Identikey server to be installed checkbox. Wait for the Active Directory changes made during the installation of the first Identikey server to replicate fully. You must be logged into the machine as a domain administrator in the machine's domain. Click Next to continue. Enter the domain where Identikey should store configuration data. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. If the Active Directory schema has not been extended before running the configuration wizard, the schema will be extended by the configuration wizard. The schema extension will start. A pop-up window will appear requesting permission to update the schema. Click Yes to allow updates and continue. The Wait-a-D schema extension window will be displayed. You will only be able to continue with the configuration when the schemas have been replicated. Click on the Check button to check to see if the schema has been replicated. When replication has completed, the word Schema Fully Replicated will appear next to the Checks button. Click the Next button to continue with the configuration wizard. You can also run the vidpadman utility to extend the Active Directory. Run the dpdadmin schema command as an administrator. When the dpdadmin schema has finished, run the dpdadmin check schema command as an administrator. When the dpdadmin check schema command results in schema OK, you can continue. If it does not return OK, rerun the command until it does. You should disable the use of LDAP SSL when you do not have a certificate authority and do not wish to set one. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Enter the username and password for the first administrator account. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Select how Identikey server should encrypt sensitive data. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Select how Identikey server should encrypt sensitive data. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Identikey can secure audit files. With secure auditing, every modification, Addition and removal of ordered lines can be detected. Select which SSL certificate to use with the Identikey server. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Enter a private password to safeguard the server certificate. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Select which SSL certificate to use for the Identikey server seal communication. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Select the Radius SSL server certificate to use to secure Radius wireless connections. If use the Identikey SSL server certificate is selected, click Next to continue. If Generate and install a new test certificate, self-signed, is selected, the Radius SSL server certificate details window will be displayed. If Install My Own SSL certificate is selected, the Radius SSL server certificate selection page will be displayed. Select which SSL certificate to use for the Identikey server MDC communication. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Set the proper SNMP credentials. To skip automatic DNS registration now, select No DNS Service Registration. You can also use DNS service registration with a DNS server supporting dynamic DNS or DNS service registration with a DNS server supporting dynamic DNS with SIG authentication. Click Deploy and connect to the local Identikey server to deploy the administration web interface and connect it automatically to the Identikey server on the same machine. Click Deploy and connect to a remote Identikey server, and supply a remote server SOAP URL to connect the administration web interface to an Identikey server on a different machine. Click Connect to a remote administration web interface client, and enter the IP address of the remote administration web interface client to create an administration client component record on the Identikey server. Click Do Not Deploy Administration Web Interface to bypass this step and deploy at a later date. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Enter the IP address of a web client to be used by the sample web pages in the SDK. This page is optional and only needs to be used if the SDK is to be installed. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Click on the Proceed button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Click on the Finish button to end the Identikey installation wizard flow. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. Click on the Finish button to finish the installation.